is, cute and undeniably tempting, long-term organic traffic is the actual king. You absolutely do not want to build your digital house on a foundation of quicksand. In the SEO world, we've got to look at these shiny new AI tools not just as magic wands, but as massive potential liabilities if they aren't managed with super strict oversight. So, let's get into it.
Here's how we're breaking it all down today. 1. The 60-second trap. 2. The looming threat of the Google penalty. 3. Auditing the AI plugin stack. 4. Method risk levels compared. And finally, number 5, safe prompts and use cases. Basically, we're evaluating everything from that tempting 60-second blog post to your exact plugin stack strictly through the lens of SEO safety and risk mitigation.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a pretty serious question about the ultimate temptation. Is risking your hard-earned search rankings really worth it for the sake of a lightning-fast automated post? I mean, think about it. When you've spent months, maybe even years, building up your domain authority, earning those backlinks, and climbing the search results, you really have to ask yourself if you're willing to trade all of that hard-won equity for what's essentially a parlor trick. That brings us to Section 1, the 60-second trap, and the allure of instant content. Let's start by acknowledging the sweet, alluring dream of a completely hands-off content machine that just cures writer's block instantly. Consider the core fantasy here. The source material shows us this live demo generating a complete WordPress post in under 60 seconds. And hey, I get it, right? It sounds absolutely magical if you're a content creator staring blankly at a blinking cursor. You click a button, the AI spins its gears, and boom, an article is live on your site. But as an SEO consultant, when I see a machine going from a prompt to a published live URL in less than a minute, I definitely don't see a miracle. I see a massive vulnerability. We're talking about a piece of content that is completely devoid of human insight or genuine search and time, which perfectly segues into Section 2, the Google penalty and the true cost of blind automation. Because right here is exactly where we need to hit the brakes. To an analytical SEO, that 60-second magic trick looks like a giant flashing red flag. The source actually explicitly issues a Google penalty warning. It reminds us that blindly automating content without human review is a cute, but honestly deadly mistake for your site's health. Look, search engines are constantly updating their algorithms to reward genuinely helpful, human-centric content, right? When you let a machine just spit out unreviewed text straight onto your blog, you're almost certainly generating thin, generic content that violates those helpful content guidelines. A catastrophic drop in organic search rankings isn't just a slight possibility, it's pretty much an inevitability if your whole strategy relies on just pushing a button and walking away. So let's look at the actual tools. Section 3, auditing the AI plugin stack. Specifically, tools for WordPress. We need to carefully audit these, not just as shiny toys, but as really serious components in your overall SEO tech stack. Looking at the options out there, we've got Jordi Mio's AI engine, which runs from free up to $49, perfect for that initial content generation phase. Then there's Rank Math AI in its premium tier, specifically tuned for SEO optimization. We've also got Uncanny Automator for workflow automation and the Jetpack AI assistant at about $13 a month, acting as a writing assistant. Now, from an SEO perspective, this stack is totally a double-edged sword. Using AI engine to generate a rough draft, totally fine. But it's Rank Math AI that bridges the absolutely crucial gap between raw, potentially risky AI output and actual SEO readiness. Because remember, your goal isn't just to produce words. It's to produce optimized, well-structured content that signals actual quality to search engines. And tools like Uncanny Automator, they're incredibly powerful for sure, but they are insanely dangerous if you automate the publishing step without strict oversight. Moving on to Section 4, method risk levels compared, going from manual to API. Let's evaluate the workflow methods presented here, scaling from the absolute safest approach to the riskiest gamble you could possibly take with your site. The contrast we're looking at here is honestly pretty stark. Method 1 is your manual copy-paste. Now, it feels slower, yes, but it offers the absolute highest SEO quality control. It essentially acts as a natural firewall protecting your site because a real human has to actively paste, format, and read the text. But then, contrast that with Method 3, API automation via tools like Zapier or Make. This gives you the fastest speed imaginable, literally piping ChatGPT directly into your WordPress database. But, and I say this as an SEO, this carries a massive Google penalty risk. Without extreme SEO oversight, Method 3 is basically just automating your own algorithmic demise. So, how do we avoid the penalty trap while still using Method 2's plugins?
Well, you absolutely must inject human oversight into the workflow. In fact, this is really the only workflow an SEO professional would ever endorse. You start by generating the content, sure, but step 2 is non-negotiable: rigorous human review. You need an editor making sure the text actually makes sense, has a unique voice, and adds real value to the internet. Then, step 3, optimize for SEO using tools like Rank Math to check your headings, keyword intent, internal links, the whole shebang. And only after all of that is done do you move to step 4, publish safely. Let me be clear, skipping any of these steps is exactly how those catastrophic penalties happen.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Safe Prompts and Use Cases. Let's actually look at how to use these tools smartly by focusing on strategy rather than just spamming out full articles. The source specifically highlights 5 power prompts and 5 unexpected use cases tailored specifically for safe WordPress integration. These aren't shortcuts for generating spam, guys. These are your secret weapons for maintaining SEO integrity while still getting the benefits of AI efficiency. Let's see how this all builds into a cohesive, safe strategy. By utilizing the free ChatGPT prompt library mentioned in the source material and focusing on these unexpected use cases, you fundamentally shift your relationship with a technology. You're using those 5 power prompts for ideation, brainstorming angles, creating outlines, drafting meta descriptions, stuff like that. You are not using them to generate 2,000 words of unedited filler. You're turning AI into a really helpful assistant that enhances your workflow rather than a super risky replacement that gets your entire domain penalized by Google. The focus absolutely must always be on enhancing the human writer, because at the end of the day, the human writer is what ensures the content is genuinely helpful to the user. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a close look at your own WordPress site. Pull back the curtain on how you are currently using these automation tools, and honestly ask yourself this final, absolutely critical question. Are you building a long-term asset, or are you just begging for a Google penalty? Remember, in the high-stakes world of search, quality and control will always outlast raw speed. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.